This year's coverage of the 2023 Premium Cigar Association Trade Show was produced by Tobacco Talk Media. What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here with Tobacco Talk Media, sitting with my good friend Luciano of Luciano Cigars. Brother, always good to see you.
Always good to see you, my brother. Always good to see you.
Things going well?
It's actually re-energizing seeing you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Every year.
I love coming by to see you, and I love what you bring presentation-wise, obviously, but what you're doing, you've got a lot of new stuff that's coming out, some new formats, some different things that are going on. I had to light this one up, the Y Panda. What's the story behind this?
Well, the story is a very beautiful story. It tells the story of Panda, Y Liu Panda. He's this gentleman that just passed by. It's an interesting story. He actually showed up in Esteli one day, and he was this super kind guy who would come by and knock at the door and ask to learn about tobacco.
Oh, wow.
So that was quite interesting. You know, I get one of the security guards at the door coming to the office. Hey, there's this Chinese guy outside. And I thought to myself, like, Chinese guy in Esteli. I said, okay, right. Cool, let him in. So he comes in and he started talking about his passion. I just really kind of fell in love with the energy of that kid. You know, he was really, you know, dedicated to learn about tobacco.
Very cool.
He spent an entire year there interning at our factory and the farms, to a point where in 6 months he was already watching over our farm in Pueblo Nuevo. Wow. And then the story just became organic, you know, like the paradox of his life, of being someone from China coming to the United States to study, and his passion for tobacco, worked in a cigar shop for 2 or 3 years. Oh, wow, okay. And coming to Esteli on his own just because he wanted to learn about cigars and about tobacco. So we decided to tell that story. That's cool. That story of achievement, that story of passion. And that's what this cigar tells. It's a very paradoxical cigar as well, because that cigar provides almost like that yin-yang kind of concept, where you have, and you and I talked about this before, you know, when you sit in a room and you have 4 people smoking the same cigar without any bias, without any influence of anybody, and then you ask them to write notes of the cigar, and then at the end, when you look at those notes, they're completely everywhere. Yes. That's when you see disruption. It's when someone is writing, oh, this is medium full, oh, this is medium. I feel like this is more like mild. It's all subjective. It's all subjective, but actually when you smoke a strong cigar and a mild cigar, and the taste profile is known, it becomes quite obvious that that's a strong cigar. It's almost like a common ground for everybody. Right. When you find a cigar that you can tell, that's when I think you find disruption. And that's why this cigar speaks to so many palates. It's not just a cigar for kind of one specific, you know, public. I think this speaks to a lot of people. I think people enjoy the Y Panda. It's a beautiful cigar. I think it's one of the most innovative cigars that we ever put out. We use 2 tobaccos that in theory would be extremely conflictive, which is the Arapiraca, the Brazilian binder, with the Sumatra binder. They both have salinity, but one is alkaline, the other one is super acidic. And I love how you get into the pH of tobacco so that you can play with it and you can use science to manipulate blends. Yeah, it's basically, you know, very, very basic elements and information that we have about the soil, that we have about you know, the outcome of the leaf. When you smoke the leaf individually, you can perceive the acidity, you can perceive the alkalinity. So yeah, it's a very complex cigar, and so far this show has been our best seller. It's delicious, absolutely delicious. And I know when I saw you at opening night, I was talking with you and I said, I'm looking forward to Y Panda because it's the lightest, you know, you've got Foreign Affair, but it's lighter and, you know, more in what usually my palate gravitates towards. I love all your darker stuff, but I live in the, you know, Ecuadorian Habano, all that sort of mid-range tobacco. And if you look at the color, it's a Colorado wrapper. It's a very kind of subtle sweet taste profile, which is the Colorado of the Havana 2000. So we love that wrapper. It's delicious. Yeah. I agree, man. What am I going to say?
Yeah,
I
right.
agree. It's a very good cigar.
So you've got some new stuff also, aside from White Panda. Talk about some of the other new stuff that you've got, because you've got another cigar that you've partnered with somebody else as well, and then you've got some new format stuff with ATL also.
It's a business model that we really like, we really enjoy. It's something that's new for us, but at the same time, we are very happy with this business model, which is trying to empower other people to take the legacy of who we are. I think you see a lot of acquisitions of big companies, of small companies, then MBOs, and then after 10 years, that kind of brand figure, fades away, and then they try to bring someone else. Our challenge was to kind of really bring people, and from the inception of the creation of the brand, have them participating of the entire process. So now we develop brand ambassadors that are going out there and promoting that specific blend, that specific cigar. And it takes not being greedy to do that, because we're sharing equity of a brand.
Yes.
Of course, we'll manufacture, we'll distribute, and we'll co-own the brand as well.
Right.
But the idea is really, just like Panda, like Frank and Mike, is for us to mentor these guys into the industry.
So let's transition now. You've got Panda, which we just talked about, but you've also got Delay. And so talk to me about that whole process and what's going on with Delay. Is it Cigarin? Is that how do you pronounce all of that?
Delay. So one of the most important things for us, and I think you've noticed that over the years, is people.
Yes.
So my relationship with Sally Delay started 5 years ago, when even though we had previous partners distributing our products, a few years ago, our international distribution was always handled by us.
Okay.
So we actually have a relationship with Sally Delay for over 5 years.
Okay.
And he's been actually doing this tremendous job distributing our products in Germany, like prioritizing our company.
Nice.
And we develop a very good relationship. He's a veteran in our industry. He's been in this industry for almost 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
He owns a La Casa di Havano in Saarbrücken, Germany.
Okay.
And also another retailer just of New World products from here, from Nicaragua, Dominican, as well as he's a distributor for a few brands.
Okay.
And we became probably the number one in his portfolio of brands that he distributes in Germany. And a steady growth. Like every year he's doubling, his order. And this year was amazing. So last winter I was doing an event with Sal in Germany for 15 days. And he introduced me to Istanbul, which is a blend that he's been working a long time with his family. He has a Turkish tobacco on that specific cigar. And I smoked that cigar, and that kind of blew me away. I was like, man, this is fantastic. And he said, would you validate the cigar? I said, of course, I love this cigar. He said, so I've been distributing products for 5 years. Would you be interested to distribute my products in the United States?
Okay.
And my immediate response was, yes.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Though he said, well, we have the Delay line too, so I wanted to make a Delay in Nicaragua for us. So that's why we're coming actually to the show with the two lines. We have the Delay Nicaragua and we have the Istanbul.
Correct.
Istanbul is this beautiful artwork, as you can see in the box, done by this world-renowned artist. It took him like 3 years to paint, but if you go with
the colors in that are gorgeous.
It is, and the level of details that's done, that was actually done, the original size is the size of a cigar ring. And you can see the entire Bosphorus. Yes, I suggest after we finish here, you do some takes of that artwork.
Yes, I'll go get some.
Because the original artwork it's there.
Okay.
And the original artwork became the cigar ring, and the box is beautiful, and the cigar is fantastic. It's another disruptive taste profile. The Delay Nicaragua, which is this other line that we're distributing of Delay, is just amazing. We make that in Nicaragua too. When I say it's amazing, it's a good expression of the best Nicaraguan tobaccos that you can possibly find.
Okay. Is it using? How many of the different regions is it using?
So we have 4 different regions of Nicaragua.
Okay.
Because we also use a double binder. And we have this amazing Corojo 98 wrapper that we use. It's beautiful. They had the kind of reddish Colorado color.
Does it have a little bit of that like Corojo tang to it that just gives it a little
it's
bit
100% Corojo 98.
Nice.
So
I love that little Corojo
that.
tang. It's not Candela like, but there's just this usual, or my words, your palate obviously is much more refined, but there's this interesting tang, not tartness, but a little brightness to it that I love about Corojo.
Yes. It's true. It's a tobacco that has more balanced acidity, different than the Criollo or Connecticut, that's super high acidic. It's a very interesting wrapper to work with, very versatile. I think that's the best word. And finally, we have the expansion of the Lime Maria Lucia.
Yes, I was getting to that next.
So that became our single SKU bestseller in our entire portfolio. So it was organic and natural to kind of expand those in 3 more sizes. And it's been, success.
That's
as you
awesome.
can see. So we're very thankful, man. Very thankful for what God has been giving us, and the opportunity to interact with people, talk to people, share our dreams, share the products that we create.
Yep.
It's what kind of drive and motivates us.
So what are the 3 new formats with the Maria Lucia?
So we have the all box press, but we have a Corona Gorda, a 5 5/8 by 46. We have a double Robusto, a 6.5 by 50, and we have a Canonazo, which is 5 and 7, a 7/8 by 52.
Okay.
So it's a little shorter than a Toro.
I'll say almost a Toro, yeah.
Almost a Toro, yeah.
Very cool.
Those are beautiful sizes, and of course we keep the original, which is the 5 1/4 by 54. We just changed the name of the Vitola because we're calling it just kind of Super Robusto, but actually we're calling it Magnum because that's what it is.
Okay.
Magnum is a 5 1/4 by 54.
Now, is that a Cuban name for that Vitola, or?
Listen, there's several ways that the Cubans, they name their...
Because I know New World Tobacco doesn't have to follow the same name.
No,
I know,
of course
obviously,
not.
Cuban you do. You can name it whatever you want.
You see what I did with Fiat Lux, so I call the Acumen, the Insights.
Yep.
But we try to follow a pattern of the names because some names are given at, we call the Galera, which is where the curing barn. So it's the Vitola that actually we test when the tobacco is still raw. So that's a tradition in Cuba to kind of name the cigars, already trying to imagine how that blend will be in the future. And also there the names are given at the factory.
Okay.
So we want to actually to kind of keep consistency on lines that are launched with the same Vitola range.
Okay.
That's the whole idea.
Very cool. So talk a little bit about, and I got to sit with Leroy, I talked with Panda, talk about what it's like working with, partnering with people in the industry that have this incredible passion. And I know it's all about relationships for you, but talk about what that's done since you have launched out officially on your own for the last, within the last year plus and all of that. What is it like building a portfolio with such incredible people?
Man, it's family, I think you said right. They are incredible people. They are people that are part of my life now, and some of them have been with me for years, different areas. I don't know. I think we have good leadership in this company, so we'll be able to form and bring more and more talented people of very good will. And people that are doing this for the right reasons. And they all understand and are part of the values that we have in our company. Which is people, truth. Always telling our clients the process that we have to get to a final product. I think this is it's a good question because I feel like this whole thing only makes sense because we have these people.
It's a good team. I mean, with everything you've got and everybody that's here, it's fun watching where you were when you and I first met a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then where you are now. It's cool to see how much has changed and adjustments and what you're doing now with the factory and everything that you've got going on down there.
Appreciate it, brother.
It's cool to watch.
And you've been part of this too.
I appreciate
you've been supporting us, and I appreciate that just by reporting our news, just by being participative of our company, and following us, you know, what we are doing as well. So we appreciate you very much. You're a friend, you know that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you're busy. I appreciate your time. The White Panda is phenomenal. I cannot wait to get into the other formats and what you've got available.
Yes.
But yeah, it's always good sitting down with you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Always.
Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, everybody. From PCA 23, Cigar Show Tim for Tobacco Talk Media with Luciano of Luciano Cigars. I got more content coming your way. This year's coverage of the 2023 Premium Cigar Association Trade Show was produced by Tobacco Talk Media.